Let's welcome Mayor Whaley, Mayor of Dayton. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, and I'm certainly grateful for Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi for inviting me here today. And it's always a pleasure to be with my mentor and good friend, Senator Sherrod Brown. No offense to the other senators, who I believe is the best senator in the country.
We believe he's the best senator from Ohio.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Thank you, Chuck. Always a high compliment.
You know, actually, while the Senate and the House are getting back to work, I wish I was back home in Dayton. But we have come, mayors from across the country, to come to get one thing done, and that is to get an up or down vote on H.R. 8. That's the only reason why we're here. We're meeting with the White House. We're meeting with anyone who will listen to us about what this has done to our community. This morning, I got a note from Monica Brickhouse's mother, who heard that I was coming here, and she sent me a text, and she had a very simple message: go get them. And that's how the victims' families feel about this work. That's how the victims who are still trying to get their lives together feel about this work. They want us to do something. And so that's why I'm here today and tomorrow, compelling the Senate to just have an up or down vote to act on what the House passed in February. Since February, Gilroy, Virginia Beach, Dayton, El Paso, Odessa, and Midland, just since February. What's going to happen next week or the week after if we could just pass a simple vote where 9 out of 10 Americans agree on it? I don't know anything else that 9 out of 10 Americans agree on besides H.R. 8. So that's why we're here. I'm here on behalf of the citizens of Dayton who called us that night to do something. This is something that can be done, can be fast, and will save lives. I'm so grateful to be here, and I hope to get back to Dayton soon. Thank you.
Senator Brown.
Thank you, and Mayor Whaley, thank you. You give a lot of coverage to a young Midwestern mayor recently from Indiana, and you should be paying attention to this one too, not to tell the media how to do its job. So, Chuck, thank you, and Madam Speaker, thank you. It's good to be with all of my colleagues, Mike and Debbie and Congresswoman Escobar. On Sunday morning in early August, Connie and I woke up in Cleveland and checked our phones and saw what had happened in Dayton. I called Mayor Whaley immediately. She told me that she had already heard from, literally, your words, several dozen mayoral colleagues around the country. Many of them had had shootings in their communities. All of them empathized with Dayton. Many of them were giving instructions and ideas and thoughts about what Nan should do, what Mayor Whaley should do as a result. That's the story too often in our country. Connie and I then drove the 3.5 hours to go to Dayton that day, spent the day in Dayton with Nan, and we didn't see victims' families that day. But then 3 days later, I came back when the President of the United States landed Air Force One at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Mayor Whaley and I greeted him, as did other elected officials, Senator Portman, Governor DeWine, and Congressman Turner and others at the bottom of Air Force One, at the bottom of the steps. Nan and I looked him in the eye and said, Mr. President, please call the Senate. Please call Senator McConnell, ask him to bring the Senate back. Please promise Senator McConnell you will sign the bill, the House bill that is passed. You will sign that bill this week. The President said he would do something. Later that day, Nan and I and others joined the President at the hospital as he met with families, with some people who were in their hospital beds injured, some very serious injuries. A number of people came back that had less serious injuries. We know that 40 gunshots were fired in those 31 seconds. After the President left the room, the President and all of us left the room where the 6 Dayton police officers were heralded as heroes, which they decidedly were heroes. 31 seconds from the first shot until they killed the shooter, saving literally dozens more lives. After the President left that room, I said to the President, he said, we're going to have the biggest honors ever. We're going to have the biggest congressional medal ever, the biggest presidential medal ever for these heroes. I said, Mr. President, the way you could honor them, the most important way you could honor them is to pass the Senate, the legislation that the House has passed, and pass it, is get this through and help us pass it, and call on Senator McConnell and do it this week. Mayor Whaley followed and said the same things to the president. Again, he said he was going to do something big. We know after he came back to Washington and he met with the gun lobby, we know what's happened. But we've got to act. That night in Dayton, in a rally, an impromptu vigil and rally, people just began to shout, began to chant, do something, do something, do something. And this is our chance. This is our chance for the Senate to do something this week. This is the chance for our country to do something. This is a chance for the president to do something, to pass common sense gun legislation. You start with background checks, other things we need to do for common sense gun legislation. There's no reason we should delay. We need to do something now.